As we know, Smally, the new tackle height law comes into place on the 1st of July, which means there's some big implications for the 23-24 season. Whether you're a coach, referee, player, or someone actively involved in the game. So I've seen DLV mentioned in relation to this, but what does it mean?
It means that any tackle in open play above the base of the sternum may be liable to sanction. For those of you that are unsure about where the sternum is, it's the long, flat vertical bone in the middle of your chest with the ribs on either side. So from now on, when tackling, a player can only target those green areas, the belly or the thighs.
So the new DLV reduces the possibility of players having their heads in the same space at any one time. However, what's the match official's interpretation and application of this regarding reducing the risk of head injuries?
Yeah, it's a great question, and the best way to answer this is for me to show you a selection of images that highlight good tackle positions. These are the kind of positions that won't be liable to sanction. This is a legal example of a tackle from the side, where the tackler clearly wraps below the base of the sternum. This is a legal example of a tackle from the rear. The tackler clearly wraps below the base of the sternum. This is a legal example of a tackle from the side. The tackler's shoulders clearly make contact with the ball carrier below the base of the sternum. In this final image, this is a legal example of a two-player tackle with both players making contact below the base of the sternum.
Thanks for that. I get that, but what's the responsibility of the ball carrier?
Yeah, it's a great question, Widow. In this image, it shows the ball carrier has the responsibility not to lower their body height or to dip down just prior to making contact. This is to minimise the risk of head-to-head contact. If the ball carrier does this, the referee might consider it late and low, and you may be liable to sanction.
So there's a responsibility and a duty of care on the ball carrier as well as the tackler, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's plenty to consider, which is why we've got some examples of legal tackles that we'd like you to take a look at.
Royally, referee's unhappy with it, haven't get a free go.
In this first sequence of tackles, we've got the blue and white attackers taking the ball into contact, and all three tackles affected by the red defenders are below the base of the sternum and therefore considered legal.
Running backwards, Lucy Knight goes the
In our
same
second
way.
clip, we have a black defender who is bent at the waist and braced for contact. Our green ball carrier is upright. The black defender effects a dominant tackle below the base of the sternum, taking the green ball carrier to ground. Our final clip sees the red and blue ball carrier taking the ball to the outside. The last defender effecting a tackle below the base of the sternum, taking the player to ground. This is an important area of our game, which is why there's another whistle stop in this series called the tackler, which match officials, coaches, players and anyone involved in rugby should watch.
Smally, these are really good examples that you've given us, and I think if you're in any doubt, you need to watch these more than once to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Smally, as we both know, when we're in the middle of a match, there's lots going on and we're under pressure to make the right decision. Is there anything out there that can help them with that process?
Yes, we've developed the tackle height framework, which is the easy to follow flowchart design, and referees will be familiar with this from the World Rugby head contact process. There's a lot going on here, which is why we're going to look at it in detail in another of our whistle stop series.
Thanks, Smally. That's a perfect introduction to the DLV. However, there's a lot of work to do so that we all feel confident, whether we're a match official, player, coach, teacher, or anyone involved with the game. So what are the resources that we should be looking for?
Yeah, firstly, I'd visit the England Rugby Tackle Height Hub. We've created this specifically for the new DLVs. There are also the referee and rugby safe toolkits on Keep Your Boots On. And finally, you can also visit the World Rugby website.
Those are some great resources, but have you got any handy tips that you could share with us?
Certainly do. Here are the top 3. Keep up to date by regularly checking the RFU Tackle Height Hub and keep your boots on. Attend any training sessions provided by referee societies in your area. And finally, watch the rest of the Whistle Stop videos in this series as we're going into some of the topics we've been discussing in more detail.
Smally, thanks for that, and thanks for taking us through that process.
Thank you, John.